Welcome to Forum Focus. Our focus tonight: debate over election law is once again front and center in Washington, with lawmakers considering legislation known as the Save America Act. Supporters argue the proposal strengthens election integrity and administrative standards, while critics raise questions about access, implementation, and federal oversight. Joining me now to break down the policy and political implications is Steve Laffey, former presidential candidate. Steve, thanks so much for joining us.
So great to be on with you again.
Of course. Let's just start out with maybe your first thoughts surrounding the Save America Act itself and perhaps what it means in the broader political context that we're in right now.
My first thought is it's not going to pass. It got through the House today. All Republicans voted for it, one Democrat. So now it goes to the Senate in our country. They have the filibuster option where you need 60 votes. I don't think they have 50, to be honest. Senator Murkowski in Alaska and Senator Collins in Maine at least are totally against it. So
Right.
I think it will die a death there. They may try to attach it to something, but the wider implication is both positive and negative. This is too stringent to pass. In other words, this law would say that you need a photo ID proving that you are a U.S. citizen. So a U.S. passport would be fine. Not everybody has one. A birth certificate with a photo would be okay. But every time you go to register to vote, you have to have these things. Now,
Hmm.
there's nothing wrong with that in a sense,
Right.
but this would kill all, and I'm in favor of killing mail-in ballots, don't get me wrong, but it would also kill any ability to have a third party. In our country, to start a third party to get signatures, even for any kind of election, you actually go in front of, well, in our country, it's Dunkin' Donuts, your country, it's Tim Horton, but what you do is you stand there, but you're not going to get any signatures that way. So
Right.
that's the overall. It's actually, listen, I'm very keen on making sure the right people vote. And there's some
Yeah.
aspects of this, like purging of the voter rolls in different states. There are many states, especially Democratic states, quite frankly, the one I'm from, Rhode Island, where
Yeah.
people who have died a long time ago are still on the rolls and they need to be eliminated. Democrats won't do it. So there's some good things about it. Ultimately, it won't pass this in this form.
Right. So, I mean, you mentioned the idea of third parties. You mentioned the implications for mail in voting as well. And it is interesting because I think even you said that, and I hadn't even clued into that before you mentioned it. And I wonder if perhaps people who are supporting this should be withholding, saying maybe there needs to be some type of an amendment in order to make it so that these really critical things, because mail in ballots for many people makes it accessible. It makes it so that they will vote and perhaps otherwise they wouldn't. Do you think there's a way for maybe some amendments to be worked in here?
I don't, because the people behind it, the people who will lead it, will be very stringent about getting this passed because they are sycophants to President Trump. If this was ever really going to pass, it would have had to have passed 250 votes in the House at
Right.
least. So, but they don't want, in our country, they don't want to do that. Like that's not, in our country, we've had some great legislation passed all the way back to the 80s with Kemp Roth. They were a Democrat, a Republican, and a Democrat getting real tax legislation passed. If you notice who sponsored this from the beginning, a Republican and a Republican. So that's how you know it's not going to pass because it has to get through the Senate. So there's
Right.
no effort in our country anymore to get this bipartisan stuff. There's some things that could be done. I think that both people would vote for. Those days are long gone under this president.
So do you think, I mean, you say you think it won't pass. Do you think there's any way where some of these Republicans like Murkowski, like Susan Collins, who have traditionally been kind of the Republican holdouts when they do go down kind of these, I guess, rabbit holes, for lack of a better word, they're
Right.
kind of the two Republicans who oftentimes stand up against what they're saying. Do you think the Republicans could do anything to make it so that they will vote in favor of it? But then, as you mentioned, I mean, you need 60, you need Democrats as well.
Yes, no, no, on those two senators, no. Remember, they're from states where Senator Collins could lose her Senate race finally this year in Maine. It's a
Right.
very, very liberal state. And in Alaska, she just doesn't care. She's a Murkowski from Alaska. It's
Yeah.
another state, by the way, where Democrats could take the Senate also. So she just doesn't care to, and then the president insults these people. So there's no getting them in to say hi, how you doing? So the president's his own worst enemy now, and he's failing, and it's pretty evident to everybody who watches him.
All right, we are going to take a quick break. Steve Laffey is going to come back with us right after this. Stay with us.